Hey Biz Bestie, welcome to episode 109 of the Maverick Mompreneur Podcast, the go-to audio hangout for female entrepreneurs looking to monetize their expertise and build lives and businesses they are obsessed with. I'm your host, Ashley, and today we are going to talk about the basics of branding. This episode is actually a preview of one of the lessons from week 1 of my course, Passive Digital Product Funnel Lab, where we build a solid brand foundation before learning the ins and outs of product and funnel creation/promotion. In this lesson from week 1, I guide students through coming up with your business name, establishing a memorable brand identity, defining your brand personality, and a lot more. All of this is to ensure that you create digital products that are not only viable and sell, but also make a meaningful impact on the lives of the customers who purchase these products from you. So if you vibe with today's episode and you want to learn more about developing your brand and how to create a digital product funnel to monetize it, check the show notes for a link to special listener pricing on the full Passive Digital Product Funnel Lab course that will help you to monetize your passion through creating and marketing your own digital products. So if that sounds good, that link is in the show notes for you. But without further ado, here is your brand foundations from week 1 of the program. In this lesson, we're going to jump into some branding 101. I love branding, but we are not going to do a huge deep dive right now. This is meant to get your toes wet, or your feet wet, I think is the saying. Do not, and I repeat, do not get stuck in making sure every little branding detail is perfect right now. As you go through the Passive Digital Product Funnel Lab, we will revisit a lot of these elements, and you can also refine as you're in motion developing your digital product funnel. There is a workbook for you. I want you to print it out. I want you to work through some of it, but it is very comprehensive. This is meant as a bonus for you. You don't have to do all of it, but it will help to guide you through a lot of what we're going to be talking about in this lesson. So first up, what is branding? And you might think first of colors, fonts, imagery, photos, logos, and that's what's called your brand identity. But the reason for selecting those is the heart of branding, and that's to communicate the essence of you and your brand through those things. Branding comes down to creating a unique identity and perception for a product, a service, or a company, which in this case, as a personal brand, is you in the minds of consumers. And it involves defining and communicating your brand's core values, your brand's personality, and benefits to establish a connection with your target audience, which we just talked about 2 lessons ago, and differentiate you from your competitors, your unique selling proposition, which you just covered. So today, your task is to think through the following using the attached workbook to guide you. So first up, your business name. If you don't yet have a brand or a business name and your brand spanking new, you'll want to come up with something simple that conveys what you do. A good name can help people remember who you are and what your brand stands for. It's also important that your name isn't too long or hard to pronounce and spell, but at the same time, it should be creative enough that it stands out from the crowd. One thing that you can consider is incorporating keywords from the research you did in our market research lesson. Those keywords can be invaluable in crafting a brand name and a business name that will resonate. If you're a coach or a consultant, leveraging your personal brand is often the best route. So you could do something like add your expertise to your name, so Jane Doe Wellness, or just use your name. I do recommend, as I mentioned in our introduction, that you purchase the domain for your business name. I also recommend you purchase the domain for your product name if it's something that's going to be a long-term product. In fact, it's reminding me right now I should probably purchase the domain for this product. In fact, it's wise to check to see if your business name is available as a .com or a .co before you solidify your business name. Domains typically cost around $17 to $20 to purchase, and there's a video linked in this lesson where I actually walk you through how to do this on SiteGround. And there's one piece of that video where I look up the availability of the domain name on GoDaddy. You don't have to do that if you have SiteGround. And I think you can in fact even search domain availability on SiteGround now for free. So you can skip the GoDaddy part. The next piece of your brand basics that I want to cover with you is brand identity. Brand identity is the visual component of your brand. So your logo, your fonts, your imagery, your colors, your hex codes, which is just the number of the color. And we'll get into that in a moment. And those are things that represent your brand's visual identity. These are elements that you'll use in the design of the branding for your digital products and your actual digital products so that they're cohesive with you and your brand. If you'll notice in my digital products, you'll see a handful of colors. Those are in my brand kit in Canva, which makes it super simple. There's a video linked within this lesson that I created and it's hosted on YouTube where I walk you through how to set up a brand kit in Canva. If you don't have a canva.com account, go ahead and set up a free account there and check out the brand kit if you don't have one already. And that's where you can save your brand colors, your logo, your fonts so that you can quickly and easily incorporate them into digital products, into your lead magnets, etc. The next component of your branding foundations that I want to talk about is your brand's personality or tone. So to define your brand's personality, think about how you want people who interact with your brand to perceive you and also how you want to make them feel. When they come across your brand, do you want them to feel excited, inspired, happy, energized, welcome, calm, pumped up? Think about how you want them to feel. And I want you to think about different brands that you interact with. And when you engage with their content, the way that you feel, there's going to be a very big difference between interacting with, say, Kylie Jenner and Gary Vaynerchuk, two totally different brands and vibes. That's kind of a weird example, but you get what I mean. And then how do you want to be perceived? I know a lot of times we think, I don't have a brand. You do have a brand because how people perceive you online and in real life, to be honest, is your brand. So you want to be intentional with how do you want to be perceived? And hopefully this is authentic to you, but you want to really think through. Do you want to be perceived as humorous? Do you want to incorporate more of your humorous personality? Do you want to be perceived as luxurious? Is that a value for you? Again, all of these elements are conveying the values of your brand and they're what is going to attract your ideal customers to you. Do you want to be perceived as casual, knowledgeable, direct? There's so many different ways that you can craft your brand personality, and your tone, the way that you speak, is another way to convey that. So answering this question is going to help you determine what type of voice or tone you want to present in all the aspects of your brand. So from your email copy to your social media posts to your digital product descriptions, all of it, personality and tone can shine through. Next up is your brand story. Your brand story is a super powerful tool that can help you to differentiate yourself from competitors and drive sales. In fact, on the Maverick Mompreneur Podcast, you can listen to episode 103, and it's all about crafting your personal brand story. So if you want more of a deep dive from me on that, you can listen to episode 103. But that is going to differentiate you from your competitors and really drive sales by clearly defining your brand's values, your mission, and your vision, and consistently communicating your brand story through all the various channels. You can attract customers who really resonate with your story and are more likely to become your loyal advocates, your raving fans. Remember, your brand story isn't just a marketing tactic, but it is a way to connect with your customers on an emotional level and build long-lasting relationships. You are here to build a long-term, powerful, impactful brand. For your next steps, I've attached a comprehensive branding workbook to this lesson to help guide you through all of the above and more, but don't get stuck in this particular lesson, as your brand can develop, your branding can develop as you get and stay in motion building your business, building your digital product funnel. Just start thinking about these things for now and then refine as you go. I'll see you in the next lesson. All right, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you got value from this episode, I would super appreciate if you would rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. All of those things really help to get the podcast out in front of more female entrepreneurs, and I so appreciate you doing that. It helps me to keep this thing going. And until next time, cheers to your impact.